Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is now episode 6 of Thinking Thursdays with lovely Stofel and Associates Realty here. Tyler Stofel, principal broker. Today we're actually going to talk about the 3 top Google searches on what people generally tend to search for in real estate. According to the National Association of Realtors, 93% of people decided to do a lot of Google searching before reaching out to a professional. So out of that, there's 3 main ones that we're going to discuss today. And the first one that is up 950% this year is, what is the process of buying a house? So that's a very valid question that is super important, because it doesn't necessarily mean you just walk into a bank, get a loan, you walk into a real estate office, you get a house, right? There's a lot more moving parts involved within that. So to simplify it real quick for you and not deal with the boring details of what we have to go through on a daily basis and make sure to process and everything like that. So I'm going to keep it simple and in just a few quick words is that, so number one, the most important thing is that you want to get pre-approved first. Before you even get your hopes up searching for a house, going on Realtor.com, going on our website, going wherever, and falling in love with a house, first thing you need to do is reach out to a mortgage broker or a mortgage lender. That's by far the most important thing, and that is because 2 reasons. One, if you find a property that you fall in love with, you want to be able to make an offer that same day. 2, you need to know where your financials are. Now, you might be looking at a $500,000 house, but in reality, because of your debt-to-income ratio, because of your credit scores, because of other various factors, you may indeed only be able to buy a $200,000 house. Just because you make $250,000 a year does not necessarily mean you can afford a $500,000 house. There's so many moving parts, including loans, credit card loans. You know, you've got auto loans, you've got student debt, you've got all these different factors that weigh into that debt-to-income ratio to justify what your purchasing power is. So it's important to divulge all that information first with the lender, get an idea of where you're at, so that way whenever you do start searching for a home, you're not looking for a home that's outside of your budget, or that you may in fact be able to afford more of a house than you anticipated. So after you find a good lender to work with, you get pre-approved, you get that nice little piece of paper, then you go to a real estate office like ours. Once you go to that real estate office, you're going to work with a trusted individual who's going to find that home and check as many boxes as possible that you're looking for. In this current market, it's a seller's market, so inventory is extremely tight. So you want to prioritize the top 3 things that really matter most to you, and maybe to take a few of the other ones down to the wayside. Unless you have a very vast budget and you've got a lot to work with, and maybe more of a $750,000 plus range where the market isn't moving as fast, you have a little bit more flexibility. But here in $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 price range, homes tend to move quickly off the market, and so it may be worth sacrificing a few of those small things that you can maybe add after the fact. So after you find that house, you're going to make an offer. You're going to work with the realtor. You're going to find out what the offer price is going to be, all the other lovely legal jargon that goes into making the offer and other contingencies that go with it. You're going to make the offer. Assuming negotiations go well, the property is going to be accepted. After that, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to place that deposit, your initial earnest money deposit, into escrow with a title company or an attorney. That's your skin in the game to move forward with the house. Generally speaking, rule of thumb, that if it's a cash deal, we usually do like 1% of the purchase price. If it's a finance deal, it's usually 1% of the purchase price. If it's a cash deal, we usually save 5% of the purchase price. Good thing about it is that earnest money deposit actually goes towards your cash to close at closing. So it's not just money you're throwing away. It is actually going towards something at the end of the day. After you make that deposit, the next big thing is you want to set up a home inspection. You're going to have a licensed home inspector come out, and you're going to look at the electrical switches, you're going to look at the roof, you're going to look at the plumbing, you're going to look at the AC, you're going to look at all these things that a normal person such as ourselves, who aren't necessarily a general contractor or an expert in that field, be able to go in and tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly about the house. After you get that inspection, most likely there are going to be some repairs that are going to be needed. Again, because we're in a seller's market, if the repairs are minimal, it may not be worth negotiating out because they may go with a backup offer. However, if it is a big issue like a roof, or it is a new water heater, it needs a new HVAC, those are things that need to be addressed before the end of the home inspection period to make sure that they get fixed for you before you move in. After that happens, you're going to move through. You're going to go through underwriting with your lending. You're going to make sure that you're getting all your W-2s, your 1099s, all of your tax payments, all that good stuff, all that lovely fun paperwork. You're going to be sending that to your mortgage lender. Next thing is that you're going to get the appraisal. So an appraisal is basically guaranteeing that the offer that you made on the house is going to appraise. So you're not making an offer for $250,000 and the bank says that, hey, listen, the bank says $220,000, and now you're not upside down on a house for $220,000 difference. So that kind of protects you there to make sure you don't get into a house and you don't start off with negative equity. After that, you work that out. You're going to get a survey done. You're going to continue doing paperwork, and ultimately you're going to get to the closing table, and you're going to sign your life away with a stack of papers about this big, and before you know it, you're going to be inside that house, and you are going to be a homeowner. So obviously there's a lot more details to it, and that is why a trusted professional like us is going to help you through that process to make it as easy as possible and not be super stressful. And then the next question that's up 2,800% is, can you use your 401k to buy a house? So we aren't financial advisors, but the short answer is yes. So there's obviously penalties and prepayments and things like that go into 401ks. And because we aren't financial advisors, we do suggest that you reach out to someone who is licensed and who does practice in that. But the short answer is, can I use a 401k to buy a house? And the short answer is yes. So, and then the last one is that it's actually, the Google search is Refinance Home Loan Calculator. Again, we aren't in the mortgage business, we're in the real estate business, which encompasses it all together, but ultimately you've got to reach out to a mortgage lender, a mortgage broker, or your local bank to discuss the refinance process. However, I can tell you that all of the agents who work here at Stofel and Associates Realty, I have been pushing them to reach out to all of the people they sold houses to in the last few years when interest rates were at 4.5%, 5.5%, 4%, 3.5%, and encourage them to refinance their house. We don't personally benefit as a real estate agent. We don't receive any money from anybody. We don't receive money from the banks. We don't do anything. We are providing a value to them to just advise them that, hey, listen, right now the average rate is 2.8%. You could be saving yourself hundreds of dollars a month on your mortgage, as well as saving thousands of dollars on your interest over the life of the loan. So absolutely it makes sense to refinance right now. If you don't plan on moving in the next 5 years, even if you do plan on moving in the next 5 years, why not lower your payment now? And it makes sense. So those are the three questions, and it's always good to ask a professional about buying a house and all the logistics involved with it. So if you have any questions, you got plenty of questions, I'm sure, during the home buying process about the 401k, about refinancing. We have all the approved people in our office that can help you with any of those questions if it's not us. Thanks for tuning in, and look forward to seeing you guys next week.